Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max.
Welcome, everyone. We are the Geek Patrol, and our microphones don't have a stun setting. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Alan Gilbreth and Allisa Diggs and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And today is a little bit of a mixed bag. Brandon, I'm going to be looking to your expertise. You are very good at watching TV and
sometimes
analyzing, and basically it's going to be time for me shortly to finally renew my Disney Plus subscription. And I'm sitting there looking at my list of subscriptions, and I feel like you're the best person to consult with about how to get the most out of our streaming dollar. And because I can't just, it's like, you know, more or less one subscription, you add one, I want to take one away, that type of thing. So we're going to talk about that. And on, oh, did you have something to listen to?
I was just going to say, I bundle my subscriptions, and not, now these companies better start paying me, but they're, within Disney Plus, you can bundle with some other companies, and it's like $19 a month, and I have Disney, Hulu, and HBO Max. Ad-free.
I might have to do that, but you know the thing is, well, we'll get to that. We'll don't jump the gun. We're going to get to that, but okay, that's exactly the stuff I wanted to roundtable with you guys. Also, I just want to share. I'm really late to the party on this, but I've been working my way through the Vader comic series on Marvel, and it's like, you know, hey, anytime we're not here to just bash companies. When they put something good out, we want to showcase it. I have to say, I've been very pleasantly surprised. I don't know if you all have been reading this or not, so we'll talk about that. There's a lot of good content out there. You just got to sift through the bad content.
You got to find it
to get there. But speaking of bad content, I'm looking directly at you, Allisa. You came in and you said something, because we were talking about a few things we were touching base on our show content for today, and you didn't trigger me, but you just made me. I had a question.
Yeah.
Because you and my wife and my daughters, I've seen this, and I'm sorry if it's going to sound sexist. I'm just going to say, I've noticed that dignified, sophisticated women that I respect really gravitate towards just garbage TV in terms of what I would call it garbage. And
That's
I'm
so
sorry.
fair.
These Real Housewives, and they watch this thing Love Island, and they watch
I love Love Island.
They watch all this stuff, and I come in and I look at what they're watching. I'm like, this is so stupid. And how do you know?
I would just like to go ahead and say, ladies, if you would like to voice your comment, please either find us on Facebook or go ahead and send us an email at geektankradio@gmail.com. Attention, Joe's arrogance.
Yeah. No, I'm okay. I'm sure men watch this too. I'm just saying, I can't figure out that it doesn't make sense to me, Allisa. I look at you, I have a lot of respect for you and your taste, but
there's a Latin term for it. It's called delectatio morosa.
What's that?
Morose delectation. In other words, you take joy in the misery or the lowliness of other people.
Is that it? I mean, Allisa, what is
drama? It's the gossip. You know, I think it's like the primal urge you have to just like see the community and the secrets go around, and you get like an outside perspective of all their drama. So like you get to see someone bring a piece of information to camera and then watch how it just trickles through the whole group. And, you know, the little talking heads you get to see, but you know that those people didn't see it. So you're like, they don't have this information, but they just lied to you, and they admitted to lying to you. And it's so good.
So kind of like the Bren versus Oba situation.
Yes. Oh, my gosh.
And I only know about this because I've been keeping up with the Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, Justin Baldoni stuff. And one of the people who talks about it also does stuff on Real Housewives. So there's a lot of stuff in the chat.
I bet she had much to say about Little Miss Bren's.
How everyone sided with her until they found out she was lying.
Yeah, I dug through this season. New York sucked this season because Bren was being annoying and everyone else just had nothing interesting to add to the storylines. And it just finally culminated into the most beautiful season finale I've ever seen on TV.
I'm about to get in trouble.
Well, Joe, I'll give you a verbal parry. Why did you like Tiger King? Similar.
Well, we're not talking about me.
All right. But
we'll get to that.
I'm going to get in trouble with this one.
I don't know that I like it either.
I've watched that exact same show without it being the Real Housewives because I've been part of the con community for over 20 years.
Okay.
That's so
and
fair.
Alan is giggling over there because he knows exactly what I'm talking about.
gossip.
Gossip.
Yeah.
I plead the fifth.
Gossip, backstabbing. You watch the restructuring and everything. That's why we at MCFC keep our crew small.
Nice and tight.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, Allisa, though, okay, what do you get out of the experience? Is this something that you like? If
It's just like good mindless entertainment. Sometimes it is a little dramatic because some of the early seasons of Housewives, there was some actually there's sometimes very big real world problems that they experience, which are a little like jarring to have to watch because you're like, oh, it's more fun when you guys are complaining about, I saw your husband out with some girl last night. That's
boy.
more fun. But sometimes people's family members die and whatever. It's sad. But
okay.
So is it, as seasons go on,
Yeah.
I'm guessing that, the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, it's the same basic core group each season.
So for the most part, you get the same women. They'll add in alternates and lose some people if they didn't create enough drama or if they did too much.
If they were too boring.
If they're in prison now.
Okay, so
Because some of them
I guess-
are in prison now.
I
And
guess-
then they get back on the show when they get out of prison.
I guess my question is it? We know that it's dramatized. We know that
Yes.
they push them to get the drama,
Yeah,
even
for
though they
sure.
call it reality. Do they get to the point where they become almost caricatures of the people you met in the first season, almost like they do on sitcoms? We've seen people grow into their characters where they become almost live-action cartoons.
A little
William
bit.
Shatner.
You
Right.
can watch how fame and money will change them because the original cast of Housewives in Beverly Hills, they were all already exorbitantly wealthy.
Right.
Whereas some of these other casts, in Salt Lake City, you don't have that same kind of wealth.
Yeah.
And so when you get that fame, you change a little bit, and you can watch as they.
See, the only thing
different.
as far as reality goes that I can attribute to that is I watch things like, when they do an all-star season of Big Brother or Survivor. But also there's a couple of people that I've seen on things like Is It Cake that then ended up on Harry Potter's Wizards of Baking and have gone on to do even other shows. And it's like you watch them become a character as opposed to the competitor they were in the beginning.
No, for sure.
But you're okay, and you're binging this stuff, right?
Yeah,
You don't just watch
yeah.
one episode.
No. So I with Beverly Hills, I'm actively watching the airing season, and then I'm also watching it from the beginning because I'd never seen the series. So I'm in season 4 and also season 14 or 15, whichever one's on TV.
Wow.
Right now.
Okay, there's
Yeah.
more to talk about when it comes to trash TV, and we're going to do that when we come back here on Geek Tank Radio.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. Even the Borg refused to assimilate them. The Geek Patrol is back.
Them as in us or the housewives?
I don't know, man. And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Alan Gilbreth and Allisa Diggs and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And if you're just tuning in, I was making the rather sexist and, comment of, and it's really, I don't know that maybe it's sexist, I guess it is, but I was just marveling that there's women in my life that I respect and I admire, including you, Allisa, that are somehow, I feel like you have dignity, intelligence, and sophistication, and yet you watch some of the trashiest TV and you're attracted to, real crime dramas and all this stuff that I don't even have a stomach to watch. But I wanted to say, before we throw it to you, I wanted to say, Max, before the break, you were telling me, you said, well, why was I attracted to watching The Tiger King? I really wasn't. I watched it because everybody was talking about it, and I've never rewatched it. I felt dirty after watching that.
That's so fair.
And even after watching that, Allisa, I know you watched that show Chimp Crazy.
Yeah,
I
I
still
did. It was
can't
so
watch
good.
it. I have I don't seek that stuff out. I seek out, if I'm going to watch a reality show, it's going to be like Rust Valley Restorers or something that
that's
has
fair.
a positive, it's funny and it's goofy and there's dysfunction, but it's also got heart and there's usually a happy ending. So
Well, I mean, I'm going to say this. Tiger King, we all watched it because of the fact that we couldn't go do anything else.
Yeah. Also,
We were
That's
on
right. It was
lockdown.
during
It's
COVID.
like
That's right.
It's like, so we were fascinated to see anything that was just like not, the same family members from across the way where you just, you got to the point where it's like, I would kill to be able to like spend 5 minutes alone.
literally.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I can't say that we're any better. I mean, you got things that, resonate with guys. Like I'm a massive addict when it comes to lizard lick towing.
Interesting.
And
What? I don't even know what that
you've
is.
never seen lizard lick towing? Oh my God. All right. So, so this guy, all right. So there was a show and I can't remember the name of it exactly, but in one of the episodes, they spotlight Ron Shirley, who is a tow truck driver. And the whole point of that show was people who have jobs that suck. Not because
nobody's happy to see you.
They get paid really good money to do what they do, but it's one of the hardest jobs in the world because you have to procure this vehicle for your client, and people don't exactly want to just give up the car that's being repoed. They don't just go looking at the paper going, yeah, you're right, okay, here you go.
Yeah.
No, they will chase you down and try and beat you with sticks.
Right.
I love this show. Alan, I know one of yours is Master Distillers? You can, and Swamp People. It's like He's gotten me addicted to those kind of shows.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. All right. Joe, I will throw you the attraction.
Okay.
The attraction is either it is something vaguely familiar with a twist. Everybody has home drama.
Yeah.
Every living person on this planet, depending upon your age, as to what your home drama is. Looking around this room, we have what? We got 5 people in this room? Mm-hmm. We have easily 5 very different decades represented in this room.
That's true.
Yeah.
And every single one of us is in a different place in our life that is not without drama. Mm-hmm. And that we all have something different. So I can see how very easily it's fun to see yourself or possibly your future self.
Right.
And it is also fun, and let's face it, Oscar Wilde was so right. It wasn't enough to succeed. Someone else has to be miserable.
Now, I don't feel that way, but
that's what I was thinking. I was thinking along the lines of, are we attracted to it because we think, at least I'm not them?
Okay, I don't know.
It's either I'm not them, or I was them, or I could have been them, or as my favorite quote from a British TV show goes, but by the grace of God go I.
I don't know, man.
I think there's something about over-exaggerated yet real-world drama. Like, because, Lizard Lick is a dramatization based on their towing company.
And by the way, that is actually a real city.
Right.
What a name.
But the thing is that, the things we see on TV are not actually Ronnie and his crew going and picking up a car. It's a dramatization based on a story that they've had happen. Things that they have had happen to them, they will recreate. South Beach Tow's another one. I hate Pawn Stars. I hate Pawn Stars with a fiery passion. But I've gotten addicted to hardcore Pawn because Les is my hero.
Pawn Stars got too contrived. I grew tired of that show, too.
I want to be that guy who is looking down on his kids as they try and run the business.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I want to buy all that weird stuff that I remember from being a kid. Recently, he had a guy come in trying to sell him the Fry Kid spring rides from a McDonald's Playland. And now I say recently, but it's an old episode. I watch it on Quest. These are like 10 years old.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting there going, I remember those. And yes, I would totally put those in my front yard on a concrete block.
What'd you say, Max?
I'd like to pose a question with regards to reality TV and the way it's constructed. If we did construct reality TV as reality, would it be better or worse?
Worse.
I think worse.
I mean, because most of reality is just when you're not talking.
Yeah.
No, but sometimes reality could be even scarier.
Well, a big part of the job of being a Bravo housewife or on Vanderpump or any of their shows is knowing when, where, and how to bring something to camera. A lot of they know the interpersonal drama. They know that so-and-so cheated on so-and-so, but it hasn't been brought to camera yet. And knowing when and how to make it the most big twist drama situation you can is a huge part of their jobs. And some people are really good at it, and some people you can tell a producer fed them that line and they will not make it to the next season.
But they've also got that safety net of we are real, but we're filtered through this lens. So there's that. We know that we're being dramatic, but it's easier to come back later on and go,
and then
we're
it's
cool.
even better when you can tell when it is something that wasn't from a producer. This was something they were sitting on and waiting to be malicious with.
Okay.
All right. Well, I will tell you, as a person who's been on reality TV, you learn not to talk until you find the cameraman. So, all right, I have just seen the big Oogie Boogie in the corner So we're ghost hunting, but I can't say anything until I go find Allisa and get you lined up in front of the camera and go, "Oh my God!"
Yeah.
But you learn not to talk if the camera's not there.
Yeah.
Which is
why it seems
not
phony.
reality.
So, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's shift gears. Enough about reality TV. Let's talk about Disney Plus when we come back.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. The Geek Patrol is back.
As a jock, it is my duty to give nerds a hard time.
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmsted and Alan Gilbreth and Allisa Diggs and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And I was trying to move along to a new topic, but we can't let go of this whole reality, quote unquote, the attraction to certain reality TV shows. Like I said, I mean, I like to watch certain ones. Rust Valley Restores. I love that truck, that the Great Food Truck Race.
Bingo.
Where they but
That's
to me, that's positive, and you learn things, and
Great
there's
British Baking Show.
good feelings, a Great British Baking Show. So, but Alyssa, you and my wife, and my daughter, and a lot of other women I know, you want to be in the sewer with the the low life, whatever. But
That's true.
Anyway.
All right, so let's go ahead and touch on that for a second. You talk about, well, I like this version. Well, first off, before anything goes on, everybody needs to realize reality TV has nothing to do with reality.
Oh, right.
Reality is a genre. It's not a thing. And inside that, you've got competition. You've got Feel Good, and you've got the Maury Povich Show.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, you think about it. Donahue, Sally Jesse Raphael, Ricky Lake, Maury Povich, Steve Wilkos, Jerry Springer. These things will basically shine a light on the dregs of society and their horrible, degenerate nature. And those shows, some of them would stay on for 20 years because it had such a loyal following. Eric Bischoff was the producer of WCW for, during the Monday Night Wars. He wrote a book after WCW was eventually bought by WWF. And it was called Controversy Creates Cash. And if you read that book, it is a step-by-step producer's manual, basically, on how to make sure you can get eyes on your product. And it's through stories about working as a producer on a wrestling show. The man was a production genius. He just did not understand that eventually somebody was going to cut the purse strings because Ted Turner had pretty much given him carte blanche to do whatever he wanted. You got to get those eyes on the product. And once you start getting a little too tame, the eyes go off. Now, you talk about, like Rusty City Restorers, the Repair Shop, things like that, the British Baking Show. They managed to get you still just as intrigued with the competition, the baking, how Nigel first learned how to make crumpets with his grandmother. The stories, while it is a positive drama, it is still a drama that gets you involved. Mm-hmm. And then there's people on those shows where you really you can't help but love them, but you don't want them to win because there's somebody else in the midst of that competition that you think deserves it more.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. As a student of the Great British Baking Show, because I believe I've seen every I believe it's all about the way that show is edited, because let's face it, they film everything, then they edit it, and then they put it out there. And if you start watching it, you can start getting a sense of who might win, or there's sometimes somebody will say something really annoying or really aggravating, and it makes you stop liking them, and it makes you want to root for this other person. I'm like, that's all up to the editors, what they put in.
Yeah.
Do you know the easiest way, especially on American competition baking shows, do you know the easiest way to tell who's fixing to go home?
Yeah.
They talk to them more in the interviews.
Right.
They have more asides. There's more
interesting.
There's more focus on what they're doing.
Yeah.
And even if it's just like a minuscule thing, and then you can go, okay, they're going to go home today, and you're only halfway through the show. Crime Scene Kitchen is really bad about that.
Yeah.
I love that show because it takes crime and baking and puts them together.
Which is maybe the thing about Tiger King, because nobody had any clue what was going to happen, and it unfolded in ways even the producers had they didn't expect.
The only thing we all knew is that Joe Exotic was in prison for trying to have Carol Baskins murdered.
Right.
Right.
Well, and I think that's the same way about Chimp Crazy and how it unfolded, and the producers didn't know where that was going when they were like, "Oh, she did fake this monkey's death."
Yeah.
And now we got to figure out what to do about that. It's really crazy. I think the edit makes a huge difference, and there's certain reality stars will talk about that, like post show, about like how they received a bad edit. Like there's a girl that was on this show called Summer House who famously got a very bad edit, and she is still best friends with one of the girls that's still on Summer House, and she's a comedian. But like, I haven't listened to any of her content because I saw Summer House before I really knew who she was, and I was like, that woman's insane. I would never want to be around her.
Yeah.
But she's not. She's super cool and nice. She just got a really terrible edit because they needed a villain for the season, and she was that.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll let Alan go first.
Well, when you look at these things and the cameras are rolling, one, you get what you get. Two, the order in which you present it tells different stories, which is why we pick on multi-$100 million movies and the way a different director would have cut the movie. You know, it's shocking that extra 10 seconds walking into the bank makes a better movie.
Yeah.
Now, see, I'm a Paramount Plus subscriber because I like whenever they drop any weird Star Trek stuff or NCIS or anything like that. I don't watch Big Brother on television anymore. Big Brother has live feeds that run except for when they're doing competitions. You know, you'll check out the competitions later on a YouTube thing. But if you're watching the episode with the way that they are edited, they want the audience to, gravitate towards certain people. But if you watch the live feeds, you find out that person they're giving the sweetheart edit to is kind of a piece of garbage.
Yeah.
And not only
I will
that,
say in just a couple seasons back, a guy named Cameron won America's Favorite Player. He was a creepy serial killer psychopath, on the
live feeds.
And he was just it was more that he was awkward, but that's how he came across in any of the edits.
that kind of makes me think of not only like there's this concept called a panopticon where it's like your environment creates a certain level of psychology because you always feel like you're being watched. It also makes me think of the Stanford prison experiments.
Yeah, I mean, the way they structure, where they put the cameras, the way the rooms are laid out, they will feed drama or they will create a certain...
Kind of like going to casinos. It's like they intentionally design casinos to facilitate drama, to facilitate, you're going to lose.
Okay. All right.
Dude, they do that at the grocery store.
Good point.
Where are the eggs? They're not at the counter, baby. They're in the back of the store.
All right. When we come back, we promise we'll talk about geek stuff.
No, we won't.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. The Geek Patrol is back.
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson, here with my buddies Brandon Olmstead and Alan Gilbreth and Allisa Diggs and our pal Max over there behind the glass. And shifting gears, we've been talking about reality TV. Now let's talk about unreality TV, I suppose. But so, Brandon, no, this isn't unreality. This is a streaming situation.
We're going to talk about the reality of how you need to catalog your streaming.
Well, here's the thing. So we've got at the moment we have some streaming channels. I'll tell you what they are in a second. But I canceled Disney Plus a while ago. I think I can't even remember what show I canceled it after. And part of it was I was tired of the content they were giving me, and there was just something about it where I just felt like everybody's giving them their money. I'm voting with my dollar, and I'm tired of giving it to them. Well, now we have Andor right around the corner and Daredevil, which looks good. I'm feeling optimistic. So I am going to renew the subscription. But, Brandon, it's getting a little out of hand.
Okay.
And I don't need
that.
all these subscriptions. And based on, we have similar tastes.
Right.
Okay, based on geek tastes alone.
Okay.
Give me a rundown because I feel like I need to get rid of some. So I've got Hulu, Max, we have Netflix. And now we'll have Disney Plus, and I can't remember if I've got one other. But anyway.
All right, I'm going to tell you
I got rid of Paramount Plus after whatever.
Right. I'm going to tell you this right now.
Okay.
You're going to cancel Hulu, and you're going to cancel Max. And then you're going to get the bundle that is Disney Plus, Hulu, and Max. When you bundle those three together, you still end up paying like half of what you would do for each of those, all together.
Wait, so Hulu, Disney, and Max,
right?
And you don't have to get ESPN.
No, you don't have to.
They have a bundle where
they have a bundle that is strictly entertainment.
Yeah.
Okay. Question though.
Right.
I haven't really. I used to like watching football. Part of me feels guilty watching because people get hurt. I don't know, whatever. But I'm not going to sit there and watch.
That's because you're a good person and you don't want to see anybody get injured. I understand.
But does ESPN actually show games anymore, or is it just commentary? Because if it was games that I couldn't get anywhere else, I might be.
Here's
tempted.
the thing. I don't care about broadcast sports.
Okay.
The only broadcast, quote unquote, sport I watch is the Olympics.
Okay,
And,
I got you.
And I watch that on
Peacock.
Peacock now.
Yeah.
Right.
Wrestling's not a real sport. I mean, it's very athletic and everything, but it's a soap opera with people who do their own stunts.
Yeah.
But I have found that even the football games that they air on Netflix. I know Netflix got a lot of crap for the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight having a lot of server issues, but if you've got 65 million people watching and you're not having server issues, I'm scared of where your servers are.
Yeah, you're lying about how many servers you got.
It's like I watched their game day stuff on Christmas. I watched the Beyonce halftime concert on Christmas. I've watched I watched that Wimbledon thing that they did, that off Wimbledon thing they did. And I watch Raw every Monday night. I still wait for the replay so I don't have to watch the ads. But, because they still have to give ad time for their sponsors. So you're still going to be able to watch, live sports pretty much anywhere.
Yeah.
And what
I was going to say, with sports, I don't think that should tie you down to any service because.
Well, I don't really watch sport. I listen to baseball
football
on the app, but that's
it seems
about
like sports are the only freely owned thing for once because they just be on every streaming service.
They recently tried to do a thing called Venue, which a lot of the different streaming services were coming together to put their sports on it. And when Disney realized that they were 90% of the show, they kind of ended it.
Okay, but on this note, because there's a lot of free streaming apps, quote unquote, I know some of them they try to lure you into a subscription, but they do give you. Are there any free ones that you recommend?
I'm a big fan of Tubi. And
that's free?
And the Roku channel. The Roku channel has all sorts of weird stuff that'll show up, but it also every so often will hit you with some classic series, movies that never got put out on DVD that are all of a sudden streaming that you'll remember from the 70s and 80s.
But there's commercials, right?
Not
free
always.
version.
Even in the free version of Tubi, sometimes they'll give you ads at the beginning and then they'll just run through it, depending on the age of the movie and how open it is to the public.
Okay.
Hell, I've found full-on no ad movies free on YouTube. Even though it says free with ads, they'll run an ad roll at the beginning and at the end, after in the middle of the credits.
Yeah.
And you'll get basically an hour and a half of uninterrupted video. But let's say that you're going to go with 3 specific streaming services, and that was what you were going to limit yourself to.
Right.
I will always say that Disney is worth it for the catalog alone because you get National Geographic, you get you get a Star Wars channel, a Disney channel, a Pixar channel, all these different things.
Yeah.
And then you get live channels where you put it on the channel and it'll roll through things like at Christmas time. Awesome Christmas movies, all these classics from when we were kids. But at the same time, I also recommend Hulu because once you bundle it and Disney Plus together, you have access to almost everything. It's like you may not be getting the most recent seasons that you would find on Peacock and Paramount, but you'll have everything up to that point.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that because Hulu's the one I watched the least. The only time I really wanted Hulu was when the Orville was streaming on there, and then Futurama and I think Attack on Titan. But
Bratz.
In terms of Geek, and then that was okay. I mean, it wasn't great, but of all the subscriptions I have, that's the one I use the least. So.
We like to run through old shows from beginning to end. Mm-hmm. We watch a couple episodes a day just to kill the afternoon because, you go through periods where there's nothing on regular broadcast television you want to watch. And we just went through Charmed. We're in the middle of The Equalizer right now.
Yeah.
It's I've got MASH in my watch list and I'm going to start that up and that's on my Hulu, subscription.
It's weird that you say this. It's probably been 10 years since I've actually watched a TV show on TV.
Right.
I don't watch it anymore.
And see, and that's the thing is there's a lot of stuff that's on TV that just does not, it doesn't jazz with our demographic.
Yeah.
It's also funny, too, because I find myself in a position where I don't like watching shows as they come out. I'd rather wait a few years to let them finish to bank them because I'm more interested in catching up on content that I might not have seen when I was younger, but I had heard all about, like, for example, all the different animes that I missed when I was a kid that are easy to commit to because they're done.
And commercial free.
Commercial free.
Yeah.
All right. So if I'm hearing you right, my call of action is I need to start doing these bundle packages.
The bundle packages will do you
Make
best.
a huge difference.
And the thing is if as long as you go monthly, you can get rid of them when you're ready to get rid of them.
Okay. And Disney, you can send us that commission check. But it's time to get out of here, you guys. The show's over. So until next week, we are the Geek Patrol, and I am Joe Thorderson.
I'm Al Yelbreth.
I'm Maximilian.
I'm Allisa Diggs.
And I'm Brandon Olmstead, reminding you to make your own reality instead of listening to ours.